My name's Leticia, Liz Sherman, but I go by Leah. A lot of people don't know that. And I've never been into bikes before about 5 years ago. I didn't even have interest. I've never ridden a dirt bike or. I knew how to drive a stick shift, so I was kind of into the, knowing how to use the clutch and the gas, but I never sat on a dirt bike until about 5 years ago, and it scared me, so I backed off of it, and here we are. Yeah, my baby's about 5 years ago. Started on my 2004 Gixxer 600. It was scared the crap out of me. I should have probably started on a 300, but I started on a 600. And the torque for someone that's never really ridden before is a lot, like for me especially. But I wasn't too much into the bike at the time. I didn't have the passion yet. I actually didn't get the passion for a few years after I started riding. I didn't really feel too comfortable on any turns, in traffic. Cars just scared the shit out of me. But I think that we all had that fear when we started riding, and there's nothing that you can really do to change it. It's just the Sacramento world we live in. So I commuted from Citrus Heights to Elk Grove every day, and I took the back road. And there was this chick that always rode, and she always split lanes as I sat there in my car, and I'm just watching her, and I'm like, man, like, that's badass. Like, there's a chick on a bike, she's just splitting lanes, and we're sitting there in traffic, and I'm like, man, I could do that, like, I could do that. I'm gonna do this. I can ride. I know that there's so many accidents out there, but that's not gonna keep me from, there's car accidents. It's not going to keep me from driving a car. And so bike, it's just the fear that's always sat with me every time I get on the bike, and it's like, this could happen today, but I got on it, and here I am splitting lanes. I actually rode next to her one day, and it was really cool because I was like, I used to be sitting in my car watching you split lanes, and now I'm riding with you, I'm following you. The first time I got on the bike, I got so frustrated because I had to come up a hill from the driveway, and then there was one stoplight right on a Sunrise and Sunset, and I always stalled at that stupid light. Like, I don't know. I had it down in my head, but I think I was thinking too much, and then I was sitting there, and I'm just watching the light get ready. The other lights turn yellow and red, and I'm like, shit, this is my turn, and I just let it go, and I stall in the middle of the intersection, and I'm like freaking out, and I didn't know you could drop it back to, or you can start a bike in any gear, basically. But so I'm like trying to put it in neutral, and I'm freaking out, and the car behind me is just right there, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna hit me. The 636, the bike kind of just landed back in my lap the same day that I purchased the Ducati. In September, I bought this bike. I wasn't even going in. I was actually going in for a Suzuki. Like a Gixxer. I've always ridden Gixxers. I've been on the 600s, the 750s, and I've never sat on a Ducati. My buddy's was the only one I ever sat on, and I lifted the front end off the ground. That's how light it was, and so that really pulled me away from it. But went into Good Times and sat on the Ducati and walked out with it. Don't know, loved that. I've loved this bike since, and it's such a good city bike. There's no comparison to a Gixxer 750 at all. Like, so I took the MSF class with my ex, and then I think I met one person from there, but I didn't feel really comfortable because we had all just got out of the class, and this guy didn't really have any experience at all. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to ride with you. I don't know if I want to ride with anyone. But I was at work Googling Sacramento ride groups. I found the ride group at the time. It was called Bikes and Bitches. And I'm going to go do this. Let's go meet up with these people. We cruise together, and then we're riding in the slow lane, getting ready to exit. And then you see other bikes come on the side, and you're like, whoa, they're coming with us. So this is like my first experience of riding with people, and I felt so cool. From there, met a lot of people to this day that have just been the best people of my life and family now. People that I can't even explain, like the things that they've done for me in my personal life and helped me and met up with me in the worst times that I've been in. It wasn't even about the rides, it was about the people and the relationships and friendships that I've made. I can't even compare at all to anything. It's the bike family that I've grown to know has been with me for so long. When the 916 clicked, we all have our own family problems. We all have our lives, our jobs, kids. It just slowly kind of died off a little bit. Our rides just shut off completely. And when they stopped, it was hard because everyone was going through their own, like I said, everyone's going through their own thing in life. But when it stopped, I kind of realized personally, like some weekends, it was dead. My life was like dead. My passion just stopped. I still had the bike in the garage. We'd have a couple occasional barbecues, a couple people over, but no rides, no social life. The life of the bikers it just died off. And that's where I started the HELLCAT riding. That started March of last year. Funny story, coming from Sacramento Raceway, I was a total squid. A lot of people won't understand that, but I had no, I don't even know what I was wearing, just a t-shirt and some leggings, whatever. And there's a guy who pulls up on a black HELLCAT with a big red face of a cat on the side of the car, and I'm just like, your bike is your car is so cool, dude. And we just take off. We start racing. I just had a thing. That car alone, I love it. That HELLCAT, it's gotten me, it did something to me. So it stuck with me, that name. It just reminds me of speed. I know there's cars and bikes that are so much faster than these things, but that's where the HELLCAT riding started. I can't explain the passion that I now have for motorcycles at all. Every single day now, every day, I don't know how many people that own bikes and how many girls ride that think about the things that I think about every day, but every single day I think about the safety of my friends, especially what's going on that weekend. It's just inside of me now. January 29th of last year, I was riding on, that was actually the last week of my maternity leave, believe it or not. I was riding on Van Maren and Auburn Boulevard, and some 92-year-old man just decided to pull out in front of me on Auburn, and he stopped in the middle of the intersection. So I know where to go, so I hit the back and the front brake, and my bike started to come out a little bit, and then just immediately went into the rear of the car, the back driver door, and it got stuck, and my head had gone through the back window and just shattered the whole thing. And I just remember getting off the bike, and I kind of wobbled. My adrenaline had me, and I don't even remember a lot of it for a second, but this lady came out and she helped me walk to the side, and from that day I thought that I was gonna stop riding, because I'm thinking about my son. That was a big close call. I got lucky. I walked away from it. I don't know. What did I do? A couple months later, I bought another bike, and my parents were really upset with me, but I don't know. I couldn't stop. So I was just riding, and it comes to July 4th, I had put on a ride to go up to Georgetown. We went to 50 and Ice House Road. We're going to take that direction. Well, I didn't have any gear on. I had jeans, my ride boots, my Icon vest, and my arms were just bare. And it was hot. That's why I didn't have a jacket on. I'm just so used to looking good than being comfortable. But let me tell you, that was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my whole life. Because we were riding with probably about 12 people that day. I was right behind the leader, David, and he was setting a good pace. I was in my mind, I was in my thoughts, and that's something that you should probably clear your mind before you get onto a really deep ride like that. I jumped in the front of him, and that was the dumbest thing because I've ridden this road so many times. I jumped right in the front, and the turn that we were coming up on, without the experience that I have, I'm sure someone else could have took it way better, but it was way too deep. I don't know the pace, we were probably around like 70 an hour on like a 35 turn. So the turn came around this way, and I just saw it, and I'm leaning as much as I could. I'm not turning, so I had to just either I'm going off the cliff or I'm going into the tree. Well, I don't know what it is. So I released the bike, and I just rolled. The tree stopped me from going down the hill. The bike was down the hill. Road rash, and the worst. I can't even explain the pain that it is 10 times worse than childbirth. I would rather give birth to 10 kids at the same time than to ever have road rash, ever have water touch your bare arm. I can't explain it at all. It was just traumatizing. So that's why now when I see people on the roads, I'm out there. The weather's getting better right now. I see them. They got no shirts on. Could be Harleys or street bikes or any kind of two-wheel. I just shake my head because I'm like, you probably feel great. You feel good in the sun. You got your sunscreen. Maybe not your sunscreen, but you're going to get burned that day if you don't. And all it takes is that 1 minute of someone doing something stupid or, something in the road, oil. It could be anything, any reason to go down on pavement. I'm telling you, I'll never not wear a jacket again, ever. And it sucks because now I have this horrible scar on my arm that it'll always sit with me. But it's a good conversation starter, especially for bike nights or events. People don't know me. They're just looking at me like, whoa. Thought about covering it, but it's a part of me now. So a lot of friends have no idea that I had gone through this. I kept it a secret. I was ashamed. It's embarrassing. Like, for me, it was embarrassing for this to have happened, because it's just like, what were you thinking, Leah? Like, really? You're going to go on the twisties without a jacket? What were you thinking? So. I told my family and my ex-mother-in-law that I was going to stop. And I said, because I couldn't hold Ryder. My arm was like stiff at one point. I'm a mom now, I'm going to do the mom, I don't know. I'll just be just a mom. I won't put myself in danger. But there's danger everywhere we go. I mean, everywhere we go. You can be walking and the car pulls over to the side. You could be driving and someone pulls in front of you. You could be T-boned. You could be anything, anywhere you go. And I'm sitting there thinking, why am I giving up something that I have so much passion for and I love doing because of the mistake and the dumb decision that I made one day of, hurting myself more than I should have. I could have walked away with no scratches on my arm at all, but I didn't. I just made the decision to look good, and not have any gear on that day. But so I didn't tell anybody when I was going to go purchase this bike. I just did it. And I talked to my mom, and I told her, I'm 31 years old, but I still feel the fear of the mom wrath. I told her, I said, I'm gonna, I just pulled up on the bike, and she said that I know you can't stop riding. You're not gonna stop. And that felt great for her to hear, her to say, because I can't stop. And the life and the lifestyle and the friends, everything about the bike community is just amazing to me. It's amazing. I guess I never knew the passion for a motorcycle, a motor between your legs. I never had that. I never would have thought that this would have been something that means so much to me and has brought so much light into my life. Like, I'm so grounded with these. There's nothing about, I don't know, I hate to compare myself to other people with passions, but there's nothing that can stop me from being on a bike. I mean, I gotta be no limbs, no arms, nothing. But I'll probably figure out how I could still ride after that. I don't know. It's an undescribable feeling. There's nothing that can stop me anymore. I found the love. I found the life that I want to live. I have the friends. I have the community that I want. So I'm now living my life. I didn't live before at all. Like, I wasn't living anything. I was existing, but now I'm living, and I love it. I love my life. I love where I'm at right now. I'm Leah, founder of HELLCAT Riding, and I'm a part of Imperium Unit. One love, two wills, and one community.